I have kind of felt like an idiot, not going to lie. I felt like an idiot these past 2 years as, you see Jalen Hurts get so much national media attention and praise and all this stuff. And I've constantly been like, listen, I think the guy's limited. I think Philly has a good scheme going, but I feel like Jalen Hurts is very limited as a player as long as you force him into passing situations. Well, the past couple weeks, the past month, the NFL has also found that out, and the Eagles are struggling right now. When you look at the play on the field, when you look at his turnovers, when you look at some of the frustration that seems to be boiling over, and now we're getting reports, the worst reports that you could possibly want if you're the Eagles, right? Despite their, what are they, 10-4 right now, despite their 10-4 record. Eagles rumors, Philly's reportedly expressing internal concern about Jalen Hurts. And here's some of the quotes that are coming out of that. The team's been patient with Hurts, even though they awarded him with a $255 million contract in the offseason. He may just be experiencing a few bumps, but there's some internal concern about the stoic 25-year-old. They want their franchise quarterback to be authentic, but they also want him to open himself up a little more in the locker room and have a more outward leadership style when it's needed during difficult stretches, several team sources close to the situation had said. So not only should they necessarily be worried about that, but they have to be worried about his play. And when you have these teams that are now taking the San Francisco method that they used, which is, hey, just contain, right? Just contain. Don't let him get those little streaks up the middle. Don't let him get outside. Don't let him use his legs and just force him into these pocket passing situations. We're now seeing the Jalen Hurts, who is not, when he's put in those situations, he is not very, he's just not fucking this elite player that a lot of people expect him to be. He's not that $250 million contract guy if he's just forced to be a pocket passer, and everybody's seeing it right now.
We called this in the very beginning of the season when we saw the Eagles struggle early. The Eagles lost both their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator for head coaching jobs in the offseason last year. This is to be expected. Like, when you go to the Super Bowl, how many times, it's more often than not, when a team goes to the Super Bowl, one of the coordinators is going to fucking leave for a head coaching job. There's obviously several head coaching vacancies every single year, after the, it used to be week 17, now week 18, I guess. After they call it Black Monday, where you just see a whole bunch of coaches just get fired, and then the best coordinators from the best teams that make a deep playoff run are always getting promoted or a head coaching opportunity somewhere else the next season. And the Eagles, unfortunately, lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, and it shows. It showed early on that the Eagles were not the same team that they were last year that went to the Super Bowl. And they've been struggling all year long. Is this a Jalen Hurts problem? Maybe, could be, but dude, Jalen Hurts took this team to the fucking Super Bowl last year and was one bullshit holding penalty away from winning the Super Bowl last year. This has more to do with their coaching, with the Eagles coaching. To give up on Jalen Hurts like this, it's the classic fucking Philly media, Philly fans, the shitty fucking Philadelphia Eagles fan base that are just pulling the cord on Jalen Hurts way too early. I don't think he deserves as much hate as he's getting. I just think this is, a lack of, of a reality check. The fact that the Eagles lost their offensive and defensive coordinator. I think that's what this boils down to. They need coaching help.
Well, to me, last season, he had a really good season, but even in that Super Bowl, man, Jalen Hurts is not a passer. And that's definitely going to hurt the Eagles. I like my quarterbacks to actually be able to throw from the pocket. And Jalen Hurts, he's probably never going to be that. He's definitely regressed from last season. And we seen, man, where a quarterback, he'll have like one good season or get hot in the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, and then the team pays him, and then it backfires. Yeah, what's that?
And then they get paid. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, they get paid. I mean, the same thing happened with we just talked about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won that Super Bowl. They gave him all that money, and Joe Flacco was never going to be that guy. Never. And he was never the same again.
Well, the Bengals did that with Burrow.
Yeah, but we know Burrow is actually an elite player. I mean, he got hurt.
Right.
Chances are Joe Burrow is going to be an MVP candidate for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that.
Nobody
was thinking about that with Flacco.
I think that Jalen, I don't think he's like shit, but the reality is they have a system around him.
No,
right?
He's not garbage.
They have a system around him that allows them to do a lot of things within his limitations. But as I've said multiple times, if they ever get down and he's forced into passing positions, regardless of whatever scheme people are doing, he's not super effective. And you've now seen that played out as they've played a couple good teams. They got fucking destroyed by the 49ers. They got annihilated by the Cowboys. And then, they were winning in Seattle. They had a struggle against the Seattle team who is good. Like, Seattle's good. They're not great or anything like that. And you got their backup quarterback that drives down the field at the end of the game, and your defense, gives up a couple things. A defense which, to Beardo's point, changed defensive coordinators, right? Kind of very slyly in the middle of the week, essentially. And now you got 3 straight losses, and they're still sitting there at 10-4. They're still in good shape, and Jalen has had a lot of success as a starting quarterback. But people are starting to come to the realization that no, this isn't some superhero. Like, he's very, very fucking limited, and I don't really understand why it took this long for some people to like get on board with that. But that's the reality for Jalen Hurts. He is going to have limitations, especially when it comes to passing. Go do your tush push, your brotherly shove, do all that shit, do all this little fucking things where you can utilize his skill set. But at the end of the day, realize that if you need somebody to sit back there and throw the ball, if you're down 10 points, you're down 14 points.
That guy.
I don't know if Jalen's that guy. Certainly isn't Marcus Mariota. Whoever the fuck said Marcus Mariota should go in. It's certainly not Marcus Mariota either, whatever that bullshit was out there. But right now it does seem in Philly, they're starting to feel a little bit of pressure to do something with Jalen.